As much as I loved having long hair, summer's winding down. Hey guys, what's going on? NGS back again for another video, and I want to take this time today to talk about the greatness that is the 3DS. The 3DS, man, this thing is such a freaking badass system. I mean, with the amount of games that it's got on it, I mean, we're talking about stuff like Shin Megami Tensei 4 right here. We're talking about stuff like Fire Emblem Awakening, man, don't get me started. Don't get me started on that freaking Professor Layton going on here, man. All that action and the eShop games, man, that's some greatness right there. But you know, who can forget the awesomeness that is Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance? That's some awesomeness right there. But this video is not to talk about, man, this game right here though. This fucking game. Oh, the game's awesome, by the way. You guys gotta play it. We're not here to talk about Atlas and their awesomeness, even though they are. Repping the Persona 4 life! Is this for the anime? This is for the anime, yeah. I didn't even like the anime, but it's a Persona 4 shirt. It's got Chie on it. We're here to talk about the new 3DS. Nintendo just announced yesterday that the 3DS is going to be getting a new revision. Now, why is this shocking everybody on the internet? You know, this is just another Nintendo revision. I mean, these things come out of the woodwork. I mean, every time there's a every time there's a new Nintendo revision, an angel's wings get clipped. Like, isn't that the saying that everyone's using? I think it is. I don't know. But something's different in this situation. All right? So the best way is to describe, with a visual aid, the new 3DS. So first and foremost, there's a lot of aesthetic differences. First of all, it's going to be having a brand new feeling. Brand new, I believe, outer coat. It's going to feel different. I don't know if it's going to be matte or it's going to be like something that they're using like for the iPhone, something crazy like that. But once you open up the system, you're going to be getting a lot of new stuff. A lot of new forms of input. First and foremost, you're going to be getting a new, I guess you can call it a circular pad, a new little nub that's no bigger than the size of one of these face buttons for better control of your camera and stuff like that. Also in the back, you're going to be getting more buttons for more direct input. And you're also going to have customizable faceplates on the back as well. And under the hood, you're going to be having a brand new CPU, which is going to make games run faster, faster OS, all that great stuff. So on paper, it sounds freaking fantastic. You know, it fixes a lot of problems that we currently have with the 3DS, being the performance as well as the lack of more buttons. One of the great things about the Vita is that it has more buttons and it has a second analog stick for you to control the camera in a lot of games. But there's a difference in this situation between us getting a 3DS we always wanted, but not the one that we need right now. And what I'm talking about is the new 3DS and it having an exclusive library of games. Now, I've been hearing a lot of arguments from people about the new 3DS, saying it's not a big deal. Where have you been for the past 10 years that Nintendo's been doing this? You know, what's so different about them coming out with a beefier system when phone manufacturers do it all the time? You know, if you want to play the new games, you got to buy the new system. You know, they sound like they have some weight to them, but I want to dissect all three of them. First of all, being that the Nintendo's past track record of systems that have come out, and it's no different. So let's look at the past systems we've had. We Game Boy, Game Boy Color, you know, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP. Then you had the offshoot being the Game Boy Micro. Nintendo DS, DS Lite, DSi is where they really started to mix it up. They added a completely new interface over the standard 3DS. You got some new features that you weren't able to have with the original DS, and you did have an exclusive library of games that were only playable on the DSi series. And from there, you had the DSi XL. Then you move to the 3DS family. 3DS comes out, 3DS XL, and the offshoot being the 2DS. Now we got the new 3DS, which is essentially the 3DSi. But what's different with the DSi and the 3DSi, or the Super 3DS, or 3DS2, whatever the people are calling it? The 3DSi, which is I think what I'm going to start calling it, because literally the name, new 3DS, is having heavy support, exclusive support, as opposed to the DSi, in the form of Xenoblade. Xenoblade Chronicles is getting a port onto the 3DS2. Throughout this video, I'm going to call it like 3 different names, so I'm sorry, try to keep up. Now, for me, it's not a big deal. I freaking love Xenoblade. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It was one of my favorite games of last generation, right up there with Persona 4. But Them porting that to the system and making it an exclusive, big thing like only playable on the new 3DS is a different situation than a couple of digital games that came out on the DSi. And let's be real, people. What do you think people are going to gravitate more towards? A couple of digital games on the DSi, or big heavy hitters like Xenoblade Chronicles? They're going to gravitate towards that. And therein lies the problem. It's not a situation of a company coming out with a faster, lighter, more efficient version of a previously existing product. It's the fact that there's such alienation going on with Nintendo. They are so out of touch when it comes to the gamers. This brings up the second argument, being the fact that phone manufacturers do this all the time. From Samsung to Apple to HTC, the list goes on and on. But the difference is, those are two completely different markets. Phone technology is rapidly changing. It's rapidly evolving, growing. Every 3 to 6 to 7 to 8 months, you always have a new phone iteration that is faster than the last one, that can do more than the last one. However, we've got to the point where even if a new iteration comes out 6 to 8 months later, your old phone is not going to be outdated. You're still going to be able to run all of those apps. It's only if you have a really, really, really cheap phone that can't really do much that you're not going to be able to run the new stuff. I mean, look at the iPhone family. As much as people give so much flack to Apple, iPhone 4s are still able to run some stuff that they really shouldn't, but they do. And why? Because I have one. Same thing for other iPhones. When the iPhone 4S came out, the iPhone 4 wasn't obsolete. When the iPhone 5 came out, the iPhone 4S wasn't obsolete, and vice versa. It's just the systems are built in place so the last iteration is not going to be completely outdated. Now, of course, 3-4 years down the road, your system is going to get outdated. But that is completely different than having a game console manufacturer who only releases one of these every couple of years. One set, standalone piece of technology that the only thing that gets better is the parts become cheaper, they usually make it slimmer, and it can run things faster. But that doesn't mean they're putting in new stuff that makes the games run better, higher frame rates, better resolution, stuff like that that differentiate it and have it run stuff that the other systems can't. You see, it's a different situation. If this was a new handheld, of course, nobody would be complaining because that's expected. But this is still in the same family that's doing all this stuff. So no, it's not a case of Apple, Samsung, LG. They do this stuff all the time. It's two different markets, right? Especially considering 40+ million people own this. Then you get into the situation where if you want the newer stuff, you have to pony up the money to buy it. Of course, if you want something, you're going to have to get the money to buy it. But really, at the cost that this is going to be causing people, I don't even have to mention this, but brand confusion. What is it with Nintendo and brand confusion? I mean, we already started this with the 3DS, then we went to the Wii U, now we're back to the 3DS again with the amount of effort you have to put into explain a new product to someone. And no, it's not a case of, oh, only grandmas and moms don't know what it is. No, it's a general. If the general public cannot grasp what your product is from a 30-second ad, from a simple explanation on a YouTube video, you failed at marketing. And that's true. The product might be great. There have been many products in time that are fantastic, but they just can't market them for crap. The people just don't know what it is. And of course, the 3DS found its footing because, well, it's a Nintendo handheld. They have no competition. Let's be real here. I love my Vita, but that's not competition. And the Wii U is a prime example of that. Nintendo can get away with that in the handheld field. As long as they have Pokemon, there will always be a Nintendo handheld. But on the Wii U, where they have major competition from Sony, Microsoft, and whatever the heck is, what else is out there, PC, mobile gaming, stuff like that, you can obviously see that people weren't geared towards that. They're like, what is the Wii U? It's an extension of the Wii U. Like, if a talk show host does not understand that the Wii U is a new platform, if you have to, explain to him what the differences is, then you know something's wrong. They should be able to understand it from the get-go, 30 seconds. All right, so this is what it is. But no, that's the problem with Nintendo. They don't know how to market this stuff. Of course, the 3DS sold because it's a Nintendo handheld. It seems they're putting a lot more effort into that system than they are with their home console. And like I said, I think the new 3DS looks cool. It looks like a legitimately good product. But at the cost of all that's going to come from it, are we going to start getting exclusive new 3DS games? It's already starting now with Xenoblade. And don't say it's going to be an offshoot. It's only going to be a couple of games. No, you know, if there are certain developers who want to take advantage of the hardware, they're going to do it. And that's going to cause you more brand confusion. Some games are only going to be able to run on the new 3DS, not the old 3DS. Are they going to have to make a new box that says only plays on new 3DS? Are we going to get into instances where the frame rate's better on one, this one has a higher resolution on the other? It's just gotten ridiculous at this point, people. And this is going to probably come off as a hate video, but it's true at this point where it's just, what is Nintendo thinking? Seriously. I mean, of course, they got money in the bank for the end, till the end of time, but they just need better structure. They need better management because they could be doing so much better. And, you know, like I said, consumers, vote with your wallet. If you want this, get it. If you don't want this, don't get it. But you really have to stop and think. You know, me just buying this, just like saying, oh, it's just me, I don't care what anybody else says, and then seeing something you don't like. You have to think and wonder to yourself, is it only you who's making that decision?